This video will review all circle vocabulary. If we take a look at the picture that we have to the right, we are going to go through and identify each of our terms on the left. So obviously here we can start off with a circle, and in this case we have circle O, because its center point is going to be O, so we can just label that or name that as circle O. Circles are always named by their center point. For our diameter is going to go straight across, goes from one edge of the circle, passes through the center all the way to the other side. So we have diameter AB shown in our circle. We have external point E shown off to the side here. And central angle is going to be an angle that has a vertex at the center point. So our central angle here is angle BOC. The semicircle is going to be half of the circle, and that's going to be formed from our diameter AOB. So when we name the semicircle, we can name the semicircle as arc AOB. Our major arc, there are several in this picture, but if we were to identify one of them, remember a major arc is going to be an arc that's greater than 180 degrees. So for this one here, if I wanted to name a major arc, I'm going to do it with 3 letters, and I could say that arc BAF is an example of a major arc. Remember, order matters here, so that's why I rotated that way. So major arc BAF would be a major arc. Our next term is going to be a tangent. And a tangent is going to be a line that touches the circle only at one point, meaning it doesn't pass through, it just grazes it right on its side. So the tangent that we have drawn in this picture here is this ray right here. So this is going to be tangent GA, because it's just touching the circle right here at point A. Moving into our second column of vocabulary, we have radius. Now there are several radii that are drawn in this picture. Remember, a radius has to start at the center and go out to the edge of the circle. All radii are going to be congruent in each circle. So the 3 that I've just drawn in orange would be the radius or radii of this circle. From here, I could write them as segment OA, OC, and OB. Each of them represents a radius of our circle. For our interior point, points F, B, C, D, and A are on the circle and not inside of the circle. So therefore, our only interior point that we would have here would be point O. Our next term refers to a chord. A chord is going to be drawn so that it's going to intersect the circle in 2 locations. It's going to go from one side of the circle to another side within the circle. These chords are segments that are going to be contained within the circle. They're not crashing through here. So a chord would be described as chord AF. That would be an example of a chord. Another chord would be AD. Now our diameter, we could also consider that a chord because it's going from one side to the other. Those would all represent chords of our circle. So we would have AF would be a chord, and we have AD and AB. Now a new term that we have here is going to be an inscribed angle. So for an inscribed angle, we previously talked about central angles, and the big deal about central angles is the angle is equal to half the arc. If we were to talk about inscribed angles now, an inscribed angle is going to go hit the circle at 3 points. So its starting point, its vertex, and its end point are all going to be laid or found on the circumference of the circle, on the outside of that circle. So an inscribed angle would be angle FAD. That would be an inscribed angle. There are additional inscribed angles. For example, if I used my diameter, I could get angle BAD as an inscribed angle. You can see it's touching the circle at B, A, and D. And my third inscribed angle would be FAB. So any of those would be examples of an inscribed angle. So I'll write angle FAD as our inscribed angle there. Now our minor arc is going to be any arc that's going to be less than 180 degrees. So for this one, I could say, for example, arc BC is going to be considered a minor arc because it is going to be less than 180 degrees. An intercepted arc is going to be where our angle, whether it's a central angle or an inscribed angle, is going to touch the circle. So an intercepted arc here would be that arc BC is being intercepted by angle BOC. So BC would be considered our intercepted arc. I could also look at one of our inscribed angles here, angle FAD, and the arc that it intercepts is going to be arc FBD. The last term that we have here is going to be a secant. And a secant is going to be a segment that's going to we think of as crashing through the circle. So it's going to intersect the circle at 2 points. So segment GFB would be considered a secant because you can see it's intersecting our circle at 2 points at B and F, and then it's crashing through our circle and headed out to point G.